one of our officers out on patrol encountered two vehicles that, you know, had dealer tags on them. So, you know, good police work is, he's like, that doesn't make any sense. He starts following them. They take off at a high rate of speed in different directions. One car can only follow one car. So he followed the vehicle. The vehicle that he chose to follow wound up going through East Bridgewater and West Bridgewater, where the operator bailed out. West Bridgewater Police, State Police K-9 assisted, and that suspect was apprehended in West Bridgewater and brought back here. We also received a report of damage to a motor vehicle on Temple Street. The officer that was investigating that was then flagged down by a juvenile who was looking for a ride back to Brockton, back home. The officer, the person was shaking. You know, it was cold out last night, so he said, well, I can give you a ride, but I have to pat you down, officer safety. You're not just getting in my vehicle unless, you know, I pat you down, make sure you don't have anything on you. He said, no, I don't have any weapons. Well, they found a knife and like 3 or 4 sets of keys with dealer tags on them. One of the keys belonged to the BMW that we recovered, that was one of the vehicles that was stolen. So obviously a ride home turned into an arrest for him. So they were brought here, they were booked, pictured and printed, and then taken over to court for arraignment today in Juvenile District Court over in Brockton.
Can you talk about how you came to, or that officer came to arrest the first one, the one with the Charger, I believe it was, crashed out into a hydrant?
Yeah, he crashed in, he wound up crashing into a hydrant in the pursuit, and then as he bailed out, obviously they went after him, you know, and called in the K-9 and you know, found him on foot because he bailed out. So again, though, you know, you have 2 people, and we're not even sure. It's an ongoing investigation. They're not sure right now. Detectives aren't sure if there are more people involved too.
So how do you think, or can you say at this time, that they might have gotten access to that auto dealership keys? Yeah,
that's part of the investigation. Right now, we don't have that information, but certainly, you know, I don't know if it was like a randomly chosen. It certainly doesn't appear that way. It was just a randomly chosen dealership.
Well, was there any sort of forced entry? Did they break into the dealership overnight? Or?
The dealership part, I wasn't given any information on that. Brockton would be investigating that, and I wasn't given that information, but you know, that's obviously part of it, whether the person may have had access and didn't break in.
So I'm looking at the charges. It appears, of course, the 15-year-old wouldn't have been licensed. 16-year-old, not either?
No, neither one were licensed. Neither one were licensed. Then thankfully, you know, I mean, you know, so you have 2 juveniles who are not experienced drivers driving at a high rate of speed. You know, that's at like 4 in the morning, thankfully, but you figure an hour and a half or so later, as commuter traffic picks up, but also there'll be children out for high school at bus stops and things like that. So it could have certainly been a lot worse. Thankfully, it wasn't, you know, but it certainly, you know, an hour later, and it could have been a lot worse.
You kind of talked about beforehand, before we started rolling, about any sort of crime like this or anything is sad, but when you talk about a couple of teens who clearly the reason that they're charged as minors is because they're still developing. They don't, I mean, they're not thinking, I guess, as an adult. Where you talked about how that's kind of sad. You discussed that. Yeah,
it is. You know, we and I just saw actually where you know, Boston just had an incident involving some juveniles, and Commissioner Evans had said the same thing. You know, juveniles, you know, they're young, and you know, to be you know, kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, breaking your way into the criminal arena this way isn't good. I mean, you know, pursuits end, you know, tragically, often, unfortunately, and the other thing that doesn't make a lot of and they're driving around. I mean, basically, you know, where are they going? What are they doing? It's, you know, that's, you know, it's just like for a joyride type thing. It just, a lot of it doesn't make sense, but it's, you know, it's sad anytime juveniles are involved, you know, with this, any type of criminal activity.
Of lasting consequences for a night of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the registry will look at this with their driver's license even down the road. So yeah,